everybody. Is anybody still watching these? Well, I'm already committed, so I'm gonna finish going through all the episodes anyways. Here are my notes on episode 3. When OA is going through Costco, she finds this hoodie with a wolf picture on it, and she gets really attached to it and starts going Homer. And of course, we see her wearing it over and over again throughout the series. I find that to be a very real, genuine moment. I don't know if the connection is exactly what she's telling us it is, but I believe that there is a connection there. But then there is a point where Pat Noller is in the house with OA and her family, and they're talking about another captive boy who was found named Jamie. And she says, Jamie seems really young or really old. There is no in between. And I'm putting it in the lies column because I think that's a really strong supporter of how we see OA acting over and over again. OA really comes off as very wise and Jesus-like when she's telling her stories, but then we see her over and over again where she's making actions that kind of remind you of a younger kid or a teenager. Like when she bites into the pizza and she's like, it's so good. Well, that's not the first meal she's had. It's probably not even the first time she's had pizza since coming out of captivity. So we do see OA slip back and forth between having very adult leadership, assertive kind of moments and very youthful, childlike moments. And I would agree that there's not a lot in between for her. And as Pat Noller is talking, she uses the term truly over, and OA gets very upset. And I've got to say it, I've dealt with a lot of people who have mental disorders. I've dealt with people who are very masterful manipulators. And to me, that looked like OA was trying to find a reason to be upset. Because if she got upset and if she threw a fit and her parents threw Miss Noller out, then she doesn't have to talk about her story anymore. So all OA was doing was biding her time, waiting for something to get offended about, basically. Which is not only really common in today's society, but it's also a really common tool of people who are compulsively lying. Now back up in the truth column here, I'm going to put down how Hap squeegees the windows of the cage, because I'm not completely convinced that that cage was exactly what she was contained in, but that is a really odd detail that I don't think OA made up. There are a lot of things OA says that I don't feel like it has a ring of truth to it, but that was one that is just sort of too weird to make up and too specific to be fake. And next I'm going to write down the issue where Rachel was banging on the glass demanding answers for where August went. And that really doesn't prove anything by itself, but I think that supports my overall issue throughout the whole series when I said that there is no way that the captives are not going to demand answers for whatever happened to OA. Then I've got down that the glass on the cage is definitely not soundproof because we see Hap talk to OA through it, and throughout other episodes we see the captives talk to Hap through the glass and vice versa. And that's going to be important to prove my points for other issues coming up in other episodes. Then when Hap takes OA upstairs for the first time and lets her get a little bit of sunlight, OA stumbles upon a knife and she doesn't kill Hap. And that really bugs me, but maybe she just wasn't at that point yet. Maybe she was too afraid to do it, afraid everybody would get stuck in the basement. But I wrote this note down because it shows Hap having this really worried look. And since this is part of OA's story and she's describing that look to the party of 5 in real current day time, how in the world did she know as a blind girl what Hap was doing? For all she knew, Hap had a gun in his hand pointed at her head. But then after OA makes a sandwich, she just stands there with it and she doesn't eat it. Even when she gets to the basement, she barely touches it. And Hap makes the comment that, oh, you won't eat because the others can't eat, huh? But that is not how starving works. She picked up that loaf of bread and smelled it and licked it. But you're going to try and convince me that she made herself a sandwich. And while she was all but starving to death, OA just stood there after she made herself a sandwich and didn't bother to eat it. To me, that comes across as something that OA said to the group of 5 so that she could sound more Jesus-like. Like she is so far above everything and she doesn't even need food. She has that much willpower. But then why react strongly enough that you have to compulsively make yourself a sandwich? Psychologically, that makes no sense. Then it sounded like a complete lie that OA meets Homer Oh, I hid my championship football ring up in Hap's bathroom the first night I came here. That was 1 year and 36 days ago. And then when OA does get up and into the bathroom, not only is the ring still there, but it's basically in plain sight. It wasn't really hidden behind anything, and anyone who ever even goes into their bathroom should have found that within the first day it was there. So I'm calling shenanigans. And then all throughout episode 3, Homer is going on about how he has this son, and he needs to get word out to his son, and he doesn't want his son to think he abandoned him, and they're going to do all these great things together. And it sounds really nice. It makes him seem like this great guy. And I have trouble buying that he's going to be that obsessed that he brings his son up over and over and over for the first stretch of time that OA's there. But that disappears along with the ring and the note to Verizon. After OA had her vision, couldn't she just snatch another bill up and write another help note, but not need to send it through the back and forth between her and Homer because she could write the stuff down? And I know I initially said that OA shouldn't know what English letters even look like because she'd been blind the whole time she was in the United States. But as we find out towards the end of the series, she left a note, and I haven't got back to that episode again to make formal notes on it, but I'm pretty sure she used the regular alphabet to write that note and not Braille. Which means that since Hap had no clue that they even took that Verizon bill to try and get help, that should be something that they try again and again and again. Homer's ring does not make that situation more valid. Any bill that says help, our names are this, and this, and this man abducted us, here's the details, all that person would need to do is a quick Google search before she called the cops because their names would pop up on a missing persons list. Then I found it really odd that OA jumped when Steve tried to touch her after she stopped telling her story. And French even said that she looked upset. And I believe I said this when analyzing episode 1, but that is a realistic, almost standard reaction for someone who has been raped or, say, beaten. When OA gets back to telling her story, she starts talking about how she was sneaking sleeping pills away and crushing them up and hiding them in his pantry cabinet. And when you look at the final product that she had for the pills, that was probably the equivalent of 30 to 40 pills that she had mashed up. So you're telling me that Hap is getting these pills as a prescription in a prescription bottle, and he's not noticing that an entire month's supply has vanished? I realize OA didn't steal the pills all in one swoop, and she talks about how it was roughly a month or two before she crushed up enough pills to put in the soup. And I just don't buy that someone as anal as Hap, who has all these very detail-oriented processes for everything, isn't noticing that his pills are disappearing. And maybe the most unbelievable thing for this part of OA's story is that Hap was severely allergic to tomatoes. Okay, sure, Hap can have allergies and I don't have an issue with that, but I also have a severe allergy issue and I cannot imagine ordering something where I didn't check the ingredients list before I used it to see if it had the item that I am going to die if I eat. And especially if it's something like vegetable stock, where tomato is one of the most common vegetables on the planet. And we know OA asked for it, but she certainly didn't pick it out and order it, and she certainly couldn't read the ingredients list, which means Hap almost killed himself, and I don't believe it. Then OA finds August in the bathtub, and she's in this purple goo water. And not only do I have no idea what this goo water is, and I can't seem to figure out what the heck it would be good for in terms of a dead body, but how would OA know that that water is specifically purple? I mean, I'm willing to buy that the purple goo thing could be something that is actually real and medically related for dead bodies that I've just never heard of before, but knowing that it's purple and Hap does not tell her that it's purple doesn't make sense. Again, it's a detail OA should not know. And when OA goes back down to her cage, she tells the other captives, oh, August was up in the bathtub and Hap's gonna bury her in the morning. Why in the world was Hap keeping her that long? Because he said she died before OA got there, and it's been at least a few months because she had time to get upstairs, become his housekeeper, and ask Hap to order the supplies for her soup, after OA already said that Hap only gets groceries delivered once a month. So it makes no sense how that body in the bathtub is not completely stinking up the place and rotted and bloated. And even if I accept that that purple goo is something real, there is nothing in the world that will stop the effects of dead body decay like that. And if Hap has had August's body for several months in that tub, why would he suddenly want to bury it tomorrow? It's another convoluted, conflicting part of the story that sounds good in the moment but makes no sense if you actually look at what she said before. And then, of course, there's the whole really weird debacle where Homer writes all the help us, help us, help us stuff on the letter, puts it all in a baggie with his ring, tries to pass it back to OA. Of course, she misses it, and for some reason, Scott is in the next cage, not paying attention at all. I mean, his room is about 10 feet by 5 feet. He's not in that big of a space that he couldn't react in time to catch it. But because Hap never noticed that championship ring, it gives OA's story an excuse for not only the letter to be lost, but for it to sink to the bottom of a lake so that nobody else could find it again. Not to mention, again, that the news story OA finds about Homer from 2007 says that he woke up paralyzed. And not only is Homer fully functional, but he would have had to have some impressive physical therapy to be able to get back on the football team in time to earn a championship ring. Because Homer says he had been there for already a year and 36 days before OA got there. Meaning if he woke up from his coma in 2007, he would have had to have been on the football team the next following school year. And it's all these little details that the show introduces and then tries to pretend didn't happen that makes me so confident that OA is a liar. I also take a lot of issue that Homer introduced OA to this jumping jack therapy that helped her a lot in captivity, and she tells in her story how much that helped her. But then when she has issues as a non-captive, she just shakes and rocks. And it's in a very PTSD type of fashion. Now, certainly OA has earned the right to have PTSD, but if she knows that this therapeutic method has helped her in the past, why don't we really see her trying that when she's free? This last note I'm gonna kind of split in two, and that's where Hap hits OA with the gun, but he's only like 10 seconds behind her. And I get OA's blind and she's kind of stumbling around, but she pushed Hap down the stairs. So Hap went flying down the stairs, he had no injury, and then he went and found his rifle or shotgun or whatever it was that I'm sure he kept locked up in case any of the captives ever got free. And then he was just a few paces behind OA. But then on the truth side, I am going to say that the smack with the gun brought her vision back. And I did address this in the part 2 of my OA theory. I believe that when OA first smacked her head as a child, that probably did something in her brain, and when she got hit again, we see that the injury was really bad. There was a lot of blood that she lost, and that may have relieved whatever was built up on her brain, causing her to be blind. Either that, or she had hysterical blindness, where she lost her vision for no medical reason. They call it conversion disorder now, but it's where something happens and your brain just turns off your eyes or one of your other senses, and there's no cause for it other than your brain just shut it off because of some sort of panic mode it went into. So OA getting her vision back after she's hit on the head with a gun and she's realizing that there's really no escape for her again could have been her brain's way to cope with being in captivity to try and survive so that she could escape next time. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to like, subscribe, and share this video. I've also got a lot of other videos on my channel that you are fully encouraged to go check out. Plus, you can find me on Facebook at Say Halo Goodbye, which is my gamer tag, or Twitter at _Fanily.